Good morning, welcome to CATEX TV. My name is Frank Fortunato. Today is Wednesday, August 27, 2014. You can follow us on Twitter at CATEX TV. The chief of the International Monetary Fund, the IMF, Christine Lagarde, has been placed under formal investigation by French magistrates for allegations of negligence in a political fraud affair dating back to 2008, when she was the finance minister for then French President Nicolas Sarkozy. Her attorney told Reuters that the allegations are unfounded and they are appealing. In French law, magistrates place someone under formal investigation when they believe there are implications of wrongdoing, but that does not always lead to a trial. The inquiry relates to allegations of tycoon Bernard Tapie, a supporter of Sarkozy, being awarded 403 million euros in an arbitration battle to settle a dispute with the now defunct state-owned bank Credit Lyonnais. The allegations are that Ms. Lagarde, who was the finance minister at the time, improperly influenced the award. Yesterday there was big news in the Middle East. Apparently a ceasefire was arranged between Hamas and Israel. It was worked out in Cairo under the auspices of the negotiation framework being hosted by the Egyptians. The 50-day conflict has killed more than 2,200 people. The ceasefire is holding. It seems to be a permanent ceasefire. According to observers, the arrangement is the same as was proposed back in July 15th to be exact, by the Egyptians. The Israelis are saying that Hamas has gained very little, if anything, from the conflict, but unfortunately vast tracts of Gaza have been left in ruins. Some estimates are that as much as $4.5 billion worth of damage has been done. Israel has immediately eased restrictions on Gaza. Construction efforts and cleanup have already begun. Hurricane Cristobal is moving slowly toward Bermuda as we speak. It's about 400 miles away. This is after drenching Atlantic and Caribbean islands with very heavy rains and causing flooding. The U.S. Hurricane Center says that it's unlikely that Cristobal will strike the United States, but it is generating threatening surf and rip current conditions from Florida to North Carolina. Bermuda tourist authorities are upset at the pending dump of 4 inches of rain. It's apparently been a very rainy season to date as well. About 120,000 customers in and around Detroit are without power today after severe thunderstorms struck parts of southern Michigan. They also brought about 60-mile-an-hour wind gusts, knocking down trees and power lines, blacked out a total of about 170,000 customers. 50,000 have been turned back on. According to the utility, the majority will have their power sometime late today. A number of expressways were also closed last night in rush hour due to flooding. Time Warner Cable, a big American cable TV provider and internet provider, says that a problem occurred during routine maintenance earlier today. It caused a nationwide outage of its internet servers for several hours this morning. The company is still investigating the cause of the problem, which occurred with its internet backbone, the paths that local or regional networks connect to in order to carry data long distances. The company said the problems affected all of its markets in the U.S. It began at 4:30 a.m. and was largely restored by about 6 a.m. Insured losses from disasters, including natural catastrophes, came to about $21 billion for the first half of the year. This is for the global reinsurance industry. Unfortunately, this came with a headline in Reuters saying that the dip in insured losses lends further credence to the fact that rates should continue to drop. The total is 16% lower than the $25 billion of insured disaster losses last year. The report noted that 4,700 lives were lost as a result of natural catastrophes and man-made disasters over the first 6 months. In a related story, proposed Bermudian startup reinsurer Golub Capital has been placed on hold indefinitely because of rapidly deteriorating market conditions in the reinsurance industry. The move comes despite what's thought to have been a successful fundraising process. The company had indicated it was going to raise $750 million. They apparently have done so. Thomas Wafer, who used to be the CEO of Endurance, was going to be the CEO of this entity, but as I said, it is on hold. If premium rates are coming down and continue to come down, this is not a good environment to start a company in. The struggling global insurer QBE, based in Australia, has purchased a comprehensive reinsurance deal for a $390 million premium price to remove the reserving risk from its Italian and Spanish medical malpractice liability books. QBE has suffered tens of millions of dollars in deterioration in its med mal books in recent years and moved to get that risk off the books with this mammoth reinsurance deal. The deal was placed several weeks ago and provides QBE with 100% ground-up reinsurance of both its Spanish and Italian medical mal books. The CEO of QBE, John Neal, said, "Finality is a big word to use in the modern world, but the reinsurance is unlimited. The transaction represents a major chunk of premium to a global casualty treaty market that's suffering sharp rate softening and reduced demand." The cover was placed in layers. The bottom layer is written by one of the world's AA rated insurers, with Bermudian carriers writing the excess. The U.S. military is developing what is called a hypersonic rocket that can fly at 10 times the speed of sound and attack targets anywhere in the world in under just 1 hour. The problem is it failed spectacularly in a test launch in the Kodiak Peninsula in Alaska earlier this week. They had to detonate the rocket after it lifted off from the launch pad and began to travel back to the launch pad. Nobody was injured, fortunately. The Defense Department hopes that the rocket can be used to bombard faraway targets with non-nuclear explosives and not appear on radar like a weapon that other countries like Russia could mistake for a nuclear-armed intercontinental ballistic missile. According to one skeptic, he said, "Right now, if you see a long-range ballistic missile coming from the U.S., you know it's a nuclear weapon." The distinction here is that this hypersonic weapon behaves very differently from an ICBM. An ICBM can travel thousands of miles around the globe just above the atmosphere. It goes up and it comes down in an arc. The hypersonic missile shoots straight up and then glides back down to Earth in a straight line like a needle, hitting speeds of as much as 13,000 miles per hour. It's almost impossible to shoot down as a result. Presumably, the thinking is that the different radar signature that the hypersonic missile will show will provide comfort to radar monitors in hostile states, who would then say, "Oh, that's a hypersonic missile. It presumably does not have a nuclear warhead." That logic is a little dubious. God knows how much this project costs, but we'll keep watching it. That's the news for today. If we have any breaking news, we'll come back and tell you. Thank you for watching, and we'll see you tomorrow.